Multiple severe/tornado outbreaks are possible, if not even likely, towards the end of this week going into early next week. Who could receive the most damaging to destructive winds, very large hail, and strong to intense tornadoes? We'll find out in today's video. Good Wednesday afternoon, everyone. This is Atmospheric Alex here, back with another severe weather outlook and discussion video here for today, where we're going to be talking about the upcoming significant trend of severe weather for the Central U.S., even going a little bit further off to the east. We're going to start off here with tomorrow's Storm Prediction Center's convective outlook, our day 2 outlook. We're talking about a slight risk here. This could potentially get upgraded to an enhanced risk. We're going to have to wait and see for Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, portions of Illinois as well, with the main hazards being potential tornadoes. We could even potentially be talking about a strong tornado risk in this hatched area. Right within here, a 1 out of 3 in our intensity scale. So that's something we need to pay attention to. Our wind risk, really just going to be damaging, maybe considerably damaging out of some storms, and large hail as well is going to be our main threats. As we take a look at Friday's risk here, we are talking about yet again another slight risk for severe weather. That marginal risk expanding pretty far off to the east here, and actually including my area as well. I might actually get some activity on Friday, kind of the appetizer for the main show, if you will. As we go ahead and take a look at our probabilistic, we do not have a significant risk just yet, though I do think we could see that change. This is a little lower end confidence type day, but we could maybe see maybe a SIG 1 for something, not tornadoes more than likely, but something as we head into Friday. We'll have to wait and see. Going on into Saturday, we have a day 4 enhanced risk here across portions of Oklahoma, Kansas, and Arkansas, where we could be talking about a significant severe weather event/outbreak potentially, and that could even include the risk for maybe a strong tornado. We're going to have to wait and see, but confidence is a little bit lower at this time. But Saturday has been uptrending right behind Sunday. And I think Sunday, everyone in Kansas, especially Oklahoma, needs to watch very closely. We could be talking about a significant tornado outbreak if conditions do hold up to what they're currently looking like on the models. We do have a lot of uncertainties, though, that could be plaguing this forecast, and we're going to go ahead and get into that later in the video. But already a day 5 enhanced risk. Again, strong, potentially intense tornadoes are on the menu for Sunday, so you all need to stay weather aware. And the fun doesn't stop there. As we head into Monday, we have a very large slight risk of severe weather, almost said enhanced, because I do expect an enhanced risk to get issued. Probably, if I were to guess, this is very, very rough. Potentially somewhere right within here, we could maybe see an enhanced risk for severe weather, and that would include damaging winds, large hail, strong tornadoes, all going to be on the menu, including my location as well. I'm going to be quite busy, not only with finals, but with what Monday has to offer. Maybe, just maybe, I'll go out storm chasing. We'll have to wait and see. The terrain around here can be a little bit weird sometimes, so again, that is going to be a last-minute decision. And as we go ahead and take a look at our HRRR model for tomorrow's risk, we're taking a look at our supercell composite overlaid with what your radar could look like tomorrow afternoon into the evening. We could be talking about some severe storms already exploding in southern Minnesota, going into western Iowa there, and even in the portions of southeastern Nebraska, northern Kansas, as we head into around 3 to 5 p.m. tomorrow afternoon into the evening. And you could see these storms do continue to expand in coverage, and they do get pretty intense down here. Take a look at that. We could be talking about maybe, like I said, an upgrade to an enhanced risk if we continue to see storms, quite that powerful on this model and what could be realized. And you can see our environment does get very favorable, especially further off to the south in portions of Oklahoma here. And I mean, if any storms do fire, again, if anything fires down here, along the dry line, we could be talking about a lot of problems, and I do have a hunch that we could potentially see maybe a shower, maybe a storm that fires along the dry line tomorrow. And, if it can tap into that environment, if it could kind of blast through that dry, warm air layer aloft, boy, oh boy, we could be talking about a lot of issues. But again, we have no clue if that's going to happen as of yet. But look at how volatile your environment gets. I mean, that is quite intense out there. But you can see our main line of severe storms cross Wisconsin here, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, into Kansas. We could be talking about a big time wind threat, a tornado threat as well within the line. We could see, quite a few QLCS tornadoes tomorrow, like embedded rotations along the line. And this is going to continue on throughout the night. Our timings are going to be right down here if you all are interested, but you could see how that all unfolds. And actually, as I was recording this video, the new 0ZHRRR just came out. Kind of bad timing on my part, but it does fire off some, potentially clustered supercells. You can see, supercells firing up in northern Oklahoma now on our latest model run. We need to watch that very closely. We could be talking about, like I said, quite a lot of problems if this does come to fruition. But we're going to go on and move into our next segment here. We're going to take a look at our dew points here. All of our moisture streaming on off to the north in our northern mode of our severe weather tomorrow. And you can see we do have dews up in the mid 60s here, so certainly favorable enough for severe weather, widespread severe weather, kind of through these areas right within here and even a bit further off to the north. And you can see it certainly is going to be quite moist out there as we head into our storm energy, and I'm going to have to reset absolutely everything because a new model run is coming in. So if you see a lot of jump cuts coming up, that's exactly why. But we are talking about, look at this, around 2,000 to 3,000 kp here, so certainly a lot of storm energy. And if storms can fire semi-discrete in that environment, strong tornado potential will be on the upswing for sure. We're going to have to really watch for this. As we go throughout the night, some storm energy will remain even into midnight. We're still talking about an ongoing severe risk in our northern mode. Now, as we take a look at our 0 to 1 kilometer helicity here, can these storms spin? And if they do spin, will they spin a lot? I mean, this is basically what it's showing, right? And you can see we certainly do have pockets here where we're having a lot more spin. Like right down here, we have strong tornado potential in kind of like your yellow shaded areas. And maybe a couple storms playing a little bit nasty up here going into northern Iowa. Just kind of stuff to watch out for, right? And you can see even some red colors as we go later on into the night, and that's something we'll keep our eyes on. So we do have a lot of warm, moist air and the dry line, and I really want to pay attention to this. I think this is interesting. You have your dry line coming up like this and outflow boundary kind of coming out like this, and I do believe maybe right in that intersection point we could be talking about some supercells maybe firing up. It's not a forecast at the moment, but it wouldn't shock me if such a strong interaction with air masses, with boundaries, could cause additional storm development in a much more favorable environment. And of course, with our storm energy, it's going to be plentiful out there, between 3,000 to 4,000 kp along your dry line. That is typical Oklahoma shenanigans for you in the month of April. Our 0 to 3 kilometer kp, I wanted to kind of point this out because it shows an area of potential initiation along the dry line and zone to watch. As you can see, we do have a little bit of a surplus of storm energy in your 0 to 3 kilometer layer right within here, and I do think we're going to have a cumulus cloud field develop right in this area. If we see a little bit more storm energy in this part of the atmosphere, we could potentially be talking about a supercell threat, kind of a nowcasting situation that could develop for central Oklahoma. As we take a look at our amount of spinach in the atmosphere here, you can see with our 0 to 1 kilometer helicity, we certainly have quite a bit of it across our dry line. If a storm pops, strong tornado threat could be potentially realized. As we look at our supercell composite here, if you slap all your parameters together, this is what you get. You can see a potentially volatile environment here setting up across Oklahoma. And again, we do have storms that pop up in this area of southern Kansas, and that is where a strong tornado threat may be. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, Friday could be another day to watch. We're talking about a morning to early afternoon round of storms, severe weather across portions of Arkansas, going into Louisiana, into Mississippi, West Tennessee. You might get something, and of course, it's going to storm and I'm not at home. That's tradition at this point. And you could see, could be talking about some additional thunderstorm development going into the evening out here, and maybe even more severe weather popping up of, say, northeast southeastern Arkansas into western Tennessee. And that's something I'll keep my eyes on. Could see quite an impressive lightning show, as we head into Friday night. As we take a look at our storm energy here on our NAM model, you could see this is pretty eye-popping across central Texas, so it's a bit of an outlier at this moment. I do expect a lot of storm energy, maybe some severe weather down there, but I do think the most of it is probably going to be in the slight risk area that I showed earlier in the video. Things could spin a little bit, but again, this is our less significant day. Maybe a brief tornado is possible across Arkansas, some stuff down here, some stuff in West Tennessee, but we're not going over that much. Now, as we take a look at our lower resolution NAM model, I just wanted to show us off. We do have some pretty aggressive severe storms that could push through West Tennessee on Friday night and a Saturday morning, but our main show will be in Oklahoma again. So we're taking a look at this here, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, as we head into Saturday afternoon and a Saturday evening. We're going to be talking about a volatile environment that'll set up. You can see our dry line is going to be oriented from the southeast to the northwest. So that is definitely a favorable dry line orientation if you want convective initiation. And you could see we do have some stuff that tries to pop off in Kansas and Nebraska, though that's a little more elevated in nature. But if we do see a storm pop up in this environment right here, a intense tornado cannot be ruled out because of where storms could pop off along your dry line and because of how volatile your environment is. So we're going to have to wait and see. Saturday is a very conditional day, but it could go quite big quite quickly without any warning. As we take a look at our parameters, you could see your moisture is advecting northward pretty quickly on Saturday. And once again, you could see that dry line there, especially, and I'm actually going to highlight this in red because I find this quite significant. This area right within here, that dry line bulge, needs to be watched very closely. Again, we could be talking about quite an intense supercell that could fire off of that area, maybe even two supercells. We'll have to monitor this. But again, you could see your dry line, your orientation, very favorable for convective initiation. That's something we need to note. And then, of course, as we move into our storm energy here, it's going to be plentiful, between 3,000 and 4,500 in some areas. And for sure, we're not talking about a lot capping along our dry line, a little bit, but certainly a very favorable environment. Storms will have quite a lot of spin on Saturday as your lower level jet ramps up throughout the evening. You could see it starts off pretty slow. We do have, isolated areas of tornado potential up here, maybe some mesoscale stuff down here as well. But as we head a little bit later, you can see that gets a little bit more significant, and you start to see these green colors, these yellow colors here, certainly denoting where your tornado threat could be evident. Supercell composite does get a little bit elevated as we head into the evening, and a volatile environment could set up going into the earlier portions of Saturday night. If our environment is too warm and dry aloft, those storms will not be able to develop. We'll go over that in just a minute for Sunday's threat. And now we're moving on to Sunday's threat. It is never a good sign if the GFS shows a volatile environment at 7 in the morning. So this is kind of a bit of a preview of what's to come. You could see our environment is quite favorable. And as we head into the evening hours, look at this. We are talking about a pretty good environment for significant severe weather across quite a large area, even going all the way out here. This is a bit of an outlier, wouldn't really trust this out here, but kind of all this, especially along the dry line, is going to be quite volatile in nature. We do have quite an intense kink in our dry line, a pretty strong low pressure system right here, and this particular boundary right within here looks primed to initiate supercells, and really, even going down here as well could see a risk. We have storms that initiate down here in northern Texas, and take a look at this environment. Supercell composite of a 40 in some areas. This day is not to be messed with. If we see storms fire in this environment, we could be talking definitely about violent tornado potential. Certainly, this actually reminds me, May 24th of 2025. And the reason why it does is because, as you can see, we have some storms that fire right down here, right? And you're probably wondering, Alex, why is it that we have a part of the volatile environment basically being eaten away at right here? Well, we're talking about a left splitting supercell or two developing down in this area here. And basically, a left splitting supercell favors large hail and strong cold outflow winds. So we're talking about it here. Our strong cold outflow winds basically go northward into your favorable environment and just totally wipe it all out immediately, really hindering, your potential for Sunday night. And like I said earlier in the video, this brings me back to May 24th, 2025, just last year, and we had a very volatile environment across Oklahoma. But what you're about to see is some left-moving storms kind of form down here in northern Texas right there. And as they develop and mature, they actually start to cause a lot of cold outflow winds. Right within here, you can't really see it on radar, but you have this boundary right here that's rapidly moving off to the north, right, with due time. And then you could also see some pretty intense supercells up here ready to attempt to produce strong to intense tornadoes moving towards, say, central Oklahoma, the Oklahoma City area. But if we continue to play this animation on through, and this is what's very interesting, you'll begin to notice that these cold outflow winds actually undercut your storms here and kind of kill your environment, wipe out all of your storm energy within minutes. So what you wind up seeing here, again, is you see all this initiation down here, and you see your cold boundary, intense supercells, poof! Where did they go? They got choked off by cold air. That's exactly what happened, and that's what could happen on Sunday. Or perhaps we don't see that, and we wind up seeing some very intense supercells capable of violent tornadoes instead. It's going to be a nowcasting situation. Everyone and their mother is going to be watching satellite imagery along the dry line, watching where storms develop in real time. Now you can see here, your warm, moist air does advect off to the north. Look at that. We are talking about some pretty good dew point values, upwards in the 60s and even the 70s, encroaching onto our main risk area there. So that's something to note. As we take a look at our storm energy, boy, do we have quite a lot of it, upwards of 3,000, almost 4,000 CAPE in that area, and not quite a lot of capping at 00Z. And basically, this model is known to underdo capping quite a bit. So our layer here of warm, dry air may not be as warm and dry as this model suggests me, be a little bit cooler and a little bit more moist, allowing essentially for your air parcels, basically your air, to rise, break through that boundary, and explode into a massive supercell. Supercell composite, this is a volatile environment. If we see any storms get going early in this particular area, we're going to have a ton of issues. I mean, I really would be shocked if nothing fires in that area there. But you could see a lot of wind shear picks up with your black flags overnight, and for sure a strong, intense, even violent tornado risk will be evident. Now, moving on to Monday, this will be a bit brief because we're running out of time in the video, and I will definitely be doing another update on Monday if it uptrends more. Even if it doesn't, I mean, you can expect another update from me. You can see a pretty crazy environment here for severe weather does set up. Arguably another volatile environment. We just keep getting that from the severe weather sequence. You can see some storms, even some supercells could fire up in the afternoon. Storm mode is everything. If we see discrete supercells in an environment like this, strong tornadoes will be on the menu. Could we even see one that's intense? We'll have to wait and see. Damaging to destructive winds are possible, and large to very large hail is also possible as well. This could be a pretty big day, for a lot of people. Dew points approaching 70 degrees into Arkansas here, Missouri, portions of West Tennessee, and so we're going to have to keep an eye on this. And as we take a look at our storm energy, we have between 2,000 to 3,000 plus storm energy. That is a lot to contend with, and notice how far north this goes as well. Iowa may be under the gun, even into Illinois again. That would be something to watch out for, going pretty far north. So certainly quite a crazy environment, if you ask me, into Monday. And look at that supercell composite. looks very widespread in nature, and I'm going to say this right now. I do think that Sunday will be a quality over quantity situation, while Monday will be a quantity over quality situation. So I do expect a widespread outbreak on Monday, but on Sunday, it's going to be a lot more conditional, but the ceiling is a lot higher, again, for violent tornadoes. Luckily, not for Monday, though, at least not yet from what I've seen. I don't want to get slapped. As much as I want to see a tornado, I don't want the roof to come off of this thing. That would be a pretty big issue for sure. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to my little corner of the weather community, share this video with friends, family, and social media, and even leave a comment in the section below if you have any future ideas for me next, since I've been getting a lot more support lately, and I thank you all very much for that. It gives me a lot more motivation to do these uploads, and also allows for more frequent information to you all to help you all out when severe weather strikes. Have a wonderful evening and night, everyone, and I'll see you back here very, very soon.